Welcome back. The U.S. Supreme Court ordered Louisiana to hold congressional elections using a House map with a second majority black district. Now, you'll recall a lower court recently ruled that the map was an illegal racial gerrymander. WWL Louisiana political analyst Clancy DuBos is joining us this morning. We've brought him in to get your perspective. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, everyone. Well, this is not a ruling on the merits. It's important to note that the Supreme Court did not say that the lower court got it wrong. It simply said we can't implement the remedy in time for the fall elections. So the Supreme Court said, go ahead and use the map that the lower court said violated the Constitution because it was done on the basis of race, but go ahead and use them anyway, because we know that the previous one, which only had one black majority district, is clearly not usable. So this is a temporary thing. It's because of the time crunch, so to speak, the deadline of getting the ballots ready. And the Supreme Court did not say that the lower court got it wrong or that they got it right. They simply said, for right now, they're granting an emergency motion filed by Attorney General Liz Murrill to go ahead and stay the court's order not to use these districts. But the Supreme Court said, no, go ahead and use them and we'll deal with the merits later.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at fall elections. That's right around the corner, so it makes sense. We didn't really have a backup plan here. So that's an important note. Thank you for bringing that up. Also, you know, as you mentioned, this is temporary. So what does that mean for us as far as long term? I mean, could there be, do you think that there could then be some unraveling of, once the election happens, people say, well, it wasn't done, you know, legally, if this does change? I mean, what could this mean long term, essentially?
Well, I think what long term is yet to be determined. This is a temporary measure strictly for the fall elections and only for the fall elections, to give the courts time to, both sides time to file a full appeal and to argue the merits. And again, it's for this fall's elections, and then they have 2 more years. And that gives the Supreme Court plenty of time to decide the merits of what the lower court decided. Did the lower court get it right or wrong? And if it got it right, then the legislature has more time to look at another way to do this. It's important to note that the lower court didn't say that Louisiana cannot have a second black district. It simply said that this particular map for a second black district is based on race, not on enough other factors, because the rule is you can't base it solely on race. Race can be a factor because fairness is the overall goal, but it overreached in trying to create a second majority black district. So the Supreme Court has already held that Louisiana needs a second black district. It just said that this way, this particular map, the lower court said, it doesn't really pass the test. So things are kind of up in the air. I don't think we're going to go back to having one majority black district. I think we're going to have 2 black districts out of 6 in the long run. But the lower court, which is an appellate court actually, says that this one is not the right way to do it. But the Supreme Court could overturn that and say, no, this is okay. But the Supreme Court didn't have time to hear the arguments and weigh it and issue a ruling in time for the deadline that the Secretary of State said she had to pull this election off. And that deadline was yesterday, which is why Attorney General Liz Murrill filed an emergency request. It was a motion and a request. So that's where we are.
Well, at least we have something in the meantime, and we know that, you know, at least elections will be able to run as is originally planned. So 2 years, you say, they'll have to work on it, and we'll have to see, of course, what comes out of that. I'm sure we'll be bringing you back in, hoping to get some more perspective from you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Happy to do it.